Jeannie, and thank all of you for being here today. As Jeannie said, yeah, a couple of things I want to make sure everybody understands. We don't get paid. You don't have to pay anything to use the website. This is a service that is being offered now to the world, and we think it makes a lot of sense, even though you don't have to pay any cents for it. So, how many of you here believe that there's a scarcity of volunteers? Raise your hand. Come on, now be honest.
Are you still looking for volunteers?
All right. How many of you believe there's an abundance of volunteers? Well, there's a few of you who don't believe there are any volunteers. The reason I ask is one of the things that I serve on boards, I've been a volunteer in a lot of places, and I think one of the things that holds us back occasionally is that there's a law of abundance versus scarcity. And I think as long as we think there's a scarcity of volunteers, I think we're going to cheat ourselves. And if we all collectively, as a community here, if all of us said, you know what, I'm going to embrace JustServe.org, and I'm going to send it out to all of our connections and contacts, you go, well, wait a minute, they might find another volunteer opportunity that they might like more than working in our agency. You know, and I don't think that's what we're going to find out. I think the reason we don't have enough volunteers is because there's not enough people that really know about. I mean, I'm sitting over here at lunchtime and I learned about an agency I didn't even know existed. And I'll guarantee you that that's one of the challenges that we all face in marketing is, especially if you're a relatively new or smaller agency, it's hard to get the word out. So one of the things that I would encourage you is to think abundance. And it won't hurt our chances to get recruits if we help promote this website through all of our contacts, knowing that a few of them may go volunteer somewhere else, but you know what? That's, in the end, isn't that good for all of us? And if they do as Meredith just told us about, if they were to send a message to their friends and invite their friends to go with them, we may have just picked up another person in the volunteer community that was never there before. So I would invite all of you to have the law of abundance in mind as you think about this. Okay, I think that's all. I'm gonna sit down here now, and you got your right there. All right, now, how many volunteer coordinators or people who are responsible to attract volunteers do we have? Most of you, which is good. I can promise you, if you will really embrace this website, and we're going to get to hear from somebody in a few minutes that was one of the first people that I had the privilege of meeting 2.5 years ago probably, and one of the first people to really embrace this website. And we'll have her tell you a little bit about what she does or did. She's now moved on to bigger and better things within the organization. Now she's going to try to take over the world or something like that. All right, so if you're a volunteer coordinator, the first thing you're going to want to do is you go down here where it says submit a project. Now honestly, I probably would have picked a different name than that if I were designing the website, but they didn't ask me, and so we're going to call it a project. So what that is a volunteer opportunity. Now, you want to post each of your volunteer opportunities separately. See all the searching that Meredith just did a few minutes ago? If we need somebody to help as a receptionist, we need somebody to spend time with elderly people, we need somebody, each of those needs to be a separate posting so that when Meredith or her friends do a search, they'll have an opportunity to pull them up. If I put all of those things in one big project or one big volunteer opportunity, I'm losing out on the power of this website. All right? Questions on that? Okay, here's where we go to submit a project. We're going, that's right, Jeannie's going to help me, by the way, because they have changed the software enough from the time that we started. Do we have a question? Where do you want to go?
Whenever you get lost somewhere.
Oh,
by the way that-
you got yours.
I borrowed my husband.
She's in this mouse does things that my mouse doesn't do. So.
Whenever you get stuck somewhere, you don't know where you are, if you could just go up to the corner and click on JustServe, it's going to bring you to this home page. And then you can find your way, you know, it's the breadcrumbs that get you back there.
Yeah.
So, why don't we, what did you like to look at it? Are you good with the first one?
Probably not. I'm probably not good with either one of them. All right. So, where's your icon for administration? You don't need that, or
I think you can just click on this one. This display has kind of shrunk it down a little bit, but click on there. Actually, did you want to switch seats and you just tell me what?
all right, here we go. I knew Jeannie would come to my rescue.
I like Tom to tell me what to do anyway.
And Tom's pretty good at that. Ask my wife. Actually, she's probably better at it than I am.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna, you know, you're a volunteer coordinator. You're gonna enter a project, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna update one, right? All right. And what we're gonna update is the project that you're all in right here today. So we're gonna go in and Jeannie's gonna change the date.
You know what? It's not you.
There we go. That's what I was trying to figure out how to get to before, but I couldn't get there.
We have a compressed screen with this software connection.
She's trying to bail me out, which I appreciate. Which I appreciate. So one of the things, if you've already created a project and you go create another one, it'll automatically populate all the data that'll be the same. You know, name, email, phone numbers, address. You don't have to type that in every time. It will populate that after you've done your first one. Okay? So we're going to edit this project. All right? She's going to go change the date on this one. Is that what we're going to do?
You can kind of see that the pages are all, there's 5 pages, easy.
Yeah, it's easy. You walk through one. Let's go back to the first page, and we'll hurry and walk through them. I know I've got a limited amount of time. Here's where you put your information, assuming that you're the primary contact. That's just the basic information you're going to put in there, and you have to indicate that you have permission from the organization to post it. So if you're with CASA, you have to indicate there that we have permission from CASA to post this. All right, and then we're going to go to the second one. Okay, here's the organizational information. And a lot of this you can copy and paste from your website or a brochure that you have. You don't have to create new data, data to put in there. So assume that you can copy and post most of that. Now, you're going to be asked here, add to the organization or don't create an organization page now. Are we going to talk about that in a few minutes? Okay, so we're not going to get into that right now. Let's go to the next one. Okay, here's a short synopsis. You're going to say a short synopsis about what we're looking for, description of the volunteer opportunity, and so is it this page or is that it for this page?
That's for 3.
Okay. All right, now we're here. Okay. Is it a single location, multiple locations? If the Salvation Army, obviously they're going to have multiple locations. Some of you may have a single location, or your volunteer opportunity may not happen at your office. It may happen out in the community, and so you're going to have to indicate that as well. Here's where you put, is it a single day, multiple days, ongoing opportunity? I know Stephanie had some of all of those over the time, and but here's where you indicate that in times. And again, this is important because, as Meredith did a few minutes ago, if I search based on, I have 3 hours available on Saturday morning to search, so I'm going to search. If you haven't put any times in here, and that's when you were looking for somebody, they're not going to, your opportunity will not be pulled up. So don't think, well, I'm not sure what time, so I'm going to skip that. Well, you're going to want to try to fill in as much of this as you can. And then, who do you contact when you get there, that kind of thing. If you need to give that, you don't have to give that kind of information, but the more you can provide, the better opportunity that volunteer is going to show up and be able to actually help. All right? Okay, we're going to change the date.
Let's say it's changed to Friday because we're rained out. But we aren't. Okay.
We are not rained out, but we're going to change the date.
Okay, and then we review it.
So once, if you make any change, then it'll ask you to review it to make sure it's okay. That's what you want to send out. Okay, we're going to update it. You've done that? All right, are you sure you want to send an updated email to every volunteer? So if we had changed this date, I think we probably want to send an email to all of you letting you know that we weren't going to be here. That would be helpful. So yes, you certainly would want to do that. Now for any of you that pulled up this site on your phones and volunteered, you would have you will be receiving an email shortly that will tell you, confirming that you know that the event has been rescheduled and what time and so forth. All right? About there? She does like to tell me this, and she does it so well. So we got a lot of people here to help you today, and also I've got cards in my pocket. If any of you need help later on, that's what we're here for, now or by phone or in person to help you with this. So thank you very much.